Welcome back, friends. On today's video, we're going to be changing the UV light bulb in my ultraviolet water purifier. So this is made by Lancaster. Its model or name of it is Halo Shield. It's an ultraviolet light water purifier. Some years back, we had our water tested and it showed that there was bacteria in it. And they actually told us to just pour some bleach down your well and run it for a little bit, and then we'll do another water test and it'll pass. That fixes the problem for the test, but doesn't fix the actual problem in your water. So I went with the ultraviolet system. So it's made in the USA. It inactivates 99.99% of microorganisms that could be in your water. You definitely have to get a test to see what you have in there. And it does not alter the taste or smell of your water like chemicals would that you would dump down in your well. So down here, the water comes in from our well, and I have a sediment filter there, and it has a bypass on it there. So if I need to change the filter, I don't need to necessarily turn the water off to the entire house. I can just bypass it, and then it goes up here and into the bottom of the UV system and then out the top. And also I have another bypass here in case something would happen with this where it would get a leak or something. I can just bypass it totally, take it out if I needed to change it. And I need to apologize about the video here. I'm in very cramped quarters here. I've got 9 million projects going on and stuff all in my way here. So the water comes through this. There's an ultraviolet light in there. It looks like a fluorescent tube, but it kills the microorganisms as the water passes through as you use it. And then it just goes on to the house. But here is there's the power supply here, and it has a 365-day countdown here. These bulbs are good for a year. They are a little salty in price. If you get the Lancaster bulbs, they're $150 to $175. I've tried the off brands before, and some last a month, some last 6 months, but they just do not last. The bulbs actually blow. They don't like break, but you can see that just like any fluorescent light bulb, when they go out, they just blow. When you have 7 days left of your bulb life, this will start to alarm. It'll beep, and you can hold this button in here and silence it for 24 hours, and then it'll do that 7 times before it will not silence anymore. That's why I have it unplugged, because this morning it silenced for the last time, and I'll show you what that sound is like. That's what it sounds like. And here, I don't know if you can see that. Let me move you in closer. So here that says end. So when you get down to week, it'll be a 7, and you can silence it. Next day it'll start again, it'll be 6 and go down to end, and it will not let you silence it anymore. Normally if you hold that button in for like 3 to 5 seconds, it silences it, but it will not anymore. The only way to silence it is to unplug it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we change this bulb. Very simple. The only thing you absolutely need is a pair of rubber gloves, because you're not supposed to touch the glass on the bulb. So let's get a pair of rubber gloves on. Okay, we have our rubber gloves on. This is how your new light bulb comes. Cardboard. It's got foam in the ends, and it's packed around bubble wrap. But first, you need to make sure the power is unplugged. On the top here, there's like a little pin. You can just start to slide out, and you hold down on this. It's on a little bit of a spring. Kind of loosens it up a little bit for you. You pull that out. Don't let go of this, because it could go flying. It's on, like I say, it's on a little spring there. We just pull out that bulb. That's the bulb. It's not warm. If you still had it plugged in, it'll be a little warm to the touch. But we just slowly unplug that. Then we'll get our new bulb out, and then we take our prongs. They're offset just a little bit, and you have to get it right, and then you'll know, because it just slides right in. If you're wrong, one of them doesn't match up. So you just, goes in easy, you know you're right. And then plug it in. And you drop this down in. And this can go any way. There's no big deal there. And you take your, there's two holes that pin goes through. But what I do is I just barely start these in. There they're in. And then you can just push this down and slide it through. And what that is this, when it comes, it's not assembled, so this unscrews and there's like a glass tube that goes down through there, and there's a spring in the bottom, so it keeps tension on that bulb up here. And that's what I say, when you pull this out, make sure you hold that, because it can fling out, and then if you break that, then you gotta tear this apart to get all the glass out of it and everything. But the glass would not go into your water system, it would just be in that tube. And that's it. And then we plug it back in. There, we had to hold it in. Normally it's 2 to 5 seconds for 7 days, and then when you put the new bulb in, you have to hold it for 10 seconds, and it resets the lamp. And if you can see that, it's good for 365 days. Okay, so that was changing the bulb and Lancaster ultraviolet water purifier. Anybody thinking of getting these? They're great. Like I say, it takes away from all the nasty chemicals that they want you to put in your water to kill the bacteria. Doesn't change the taste or odor. Put that bulb in, you're good for a year. This is my second one I've had. I had one in my last house, and other than having to change the off-brand bulbs multiple times, I've had no issues with these. And I highly recommend that you spend the extra money and get the actual bulbs made by the company that makes this, because they actually last a year. And the other ones, you end up spending the same amount of money. You just have to change them 2, 3, 4 times a year, depending on which ones you get. But that's changing the ultraviolet bulb in your Lancaster water purification system. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. Love you to subscribe. Let me know what you guys do, if you do anything different than me, if there's anything easier or different I should be doing. And we thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next video.